Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. I forgot where we were for a minute here. In today's video, I want to talk about my friend Bo's Gorilla, who's been very helpful at kind of identifying patterns in the game and tracking trends of when events should happen and all of this thing. You might have seen me bring him up or bring up his data anyways on my videos before. And so I'm doing a total video dedicated to him, but we're going to be taking a look at his predictions for events for the Wizard of Oz, or Chaos, or whatever of Oz, Echoes of Oz, I think, going forward, and what we're going to see for that, and also for summon related events, all sorts of other events over the next 2 months. And I think it's going to be important because obviously the Oz is going on for 2 months, so we can kind of compare this to some of the other events they've run in the past, right? When they do these major events. And to be honest, a lot of their dates are very similar to each other. I wouldn't say it's a copy and paste exactly, but it's not too far off because Plarium doesn't like to rock the boat too much. Anyways, before we get started with the rest of the video, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, get out from under that rock. Download using the QR code in the top right to get King Galkabar absolutely free. We also have Venom Age, Tagore, and Farrakhan the Fat at level 10, 20, and 30. Don't forget about Pelops the Victor, the best starting promo legendary. Use the code SUPERVICTORY to get this Argonite's legendary. Okay, so let's talk about the raid event forecast. Basically from tomorrow, sorry, not depends on what day you're watching this, I suppose. From August the 17th, which I realized that the date for Oz is the 19th. Keep that in mind, right? Wednesday, the 19th is the Echoes of Oz official release. By the time you're watching this, it's probably already even happened. All the way to November the 10th. Okay, so the big picture. There's 84 collab days. Well, it's not exactly a collab, but whatever, it doesn't matter. There's going to be 5 champions, right? So we have the 4 main Oz characters. We have Ozilda. Ozilda probably not going to be free to play available in that sense. Like, yes, you can get her, but my guess is it's going to be like a #1 on the champion chase leaderboard in like over a month, right? That's how you're probably just like kind of how Raya was and things like this. Expect it to be incredibly difficult. Now, over the next couple of months, though, we're going to have more fusions, but only one fusion that's obviously for the Cowardly Lion, and there will be other fusion characters throughout the Oz period, though. 6 double shard events. These pretty much rotate every 6 weeks. It seems that they have one of these roughly every 2 weeks. Ancient Shard, Void Shard, and then Sacred Shard. Primal Shards normally are completely separate. This is a public domain collab, so the Wizard of Oz characters will be available after the event ends. And this is very important to note because things like Assassin's Creed and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, once those characters went away, presumably, unless they bring it back, are not going to be available again. So that's important to note. 84-day window matches exactly to the amount of days that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were. So, which is going to be a lot of the predictions are going to be based on that. We have 3 fusions coming. I'm wondering if I should zoom in. No, okay, I was wondering if we should zoom in. Lion is confirmed. Bose believes that the next upcoming ones will be Demon Spawn or Undead Hordes, based on some of the data. Again, not confirmed, and none of this is specifically confirmed, right? Other than, I guess, the colors here. Blue, confirmed. Yellow, predicted. Red, speculative. Okay. The event timeline, right here. So we have Echoes of Oz, the Cowardly Lion. So HYB stands for Hybrid Fusion Event. TRD, Traditional Fusion Event, I believe. And then Fragment Fusion Event, FRG. So he's predicting that the next fusion after this, basically in September or later September, is going to be a Demon Spawn fusion. And then followed by an Undead Hordes Fragment fusion in October, matching around Halloween. We'll see whether or not that ends up happening. Now, we also have the Tin Wood. I don't like this, that he's called the Tin Woodman. Is that what he's called in the actual source material? Why do I keep saying Tin Man, like up here? Like that's where, like, I'm just... Anyways, can I call him Tin Man? Are people going to get mad? Deck of Fates is what is suggested here for Tin Man in kind of late September, early October, with an Ozilda champion chase. Now, again, that's highly speculative, but based on some of the other characters that we've had with major events, a lot of them have been champion chase based characters, #1 on the leaderboard. And he also believes that Scarecrow will be a path towards the end of the event. Now, there were a lot of characters from other events that were at the very end of an event. Raphael from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a deck of fates. However, this was also forecasted at the end, or this, well, it happened actually towards the end of the TMNT period. Now, as far as the path goes, I don't remember off the top of my head, anyways, about the timeline for Assassin's Creed. I think there was somebody near the end. I know that Basim was a deck of fates, and they had Edward? Was it Edward that was a path event? I think at the end, which is why maybe he's suggesting this. Lion will have a Titan event here for a 5-star soul automatically, or really just at the end of the Cowardly Lion fusion event. Now, he also believes that there's going to be a 2x Sacred Shards event for this Friday. I spoke about this actually earlier on in the week. We talked about that it's probably going to be a champion chase on Friday, and maybe by the time that I'm recording this before the Fusion calendar is actually out, but I do believe that Friday will be a Sacred Shard 2X with Champion Chase to start. And then 2 weeks later, basically 2X Ancient Shards, Voids, Sacred Shard, Ancients. They normally follow this particular timeline. Now, with regards to a Primal Shards, I'm not sure if we're going to see one before. Well, I wonder. I was going to say before December, the winter holiday. Maybe we will, though. Some confirmed events. Well, we had the Adventurers Deck of Fates. This is literally ongoing right now, right? In the game with the events, we have the Adventurers Deck of Fates, depending on what day you're watching this. But anyways, this was for deflection gear, and it was not a big priority for me. Personally, a lot of people believe it was a Deck of Fates, a Deck of Baits. Sorry, but if you are big into PvP, that might be something that you would be doing. Echoes of Oz obviously running throughout this 84-day period, and then we have the Cowardly Lion Fusion Hybrid. Highly probable 2x Sacreds on Friday. Source Plarium official announcements to this other stuff. Fusion Cadence. 28-day cycle between fusion starts. Recent starts on Wednesday or Thursday, right? The Cowardly Lion starting on Wednesday with the summoning event on Friday. So expected dates for Demon Spawn and Undead Hordes for the next ones, September 16th and October the 15th, right? Lasting for 2 weeks apiece. Then we have what is the H2, half 2 of 2026 type rotation. So in terms of why he believes that it is going to be Demon Spawn and Undead Hordes, the number one overdue faction for fusions is Demon Spawn, and it fits the second half rotation for the traditional fusion. The TRD is traditional fusion. Undead Hordes, October 15th. 5 out of 9 of all of the October fusions in Raid Shadow Legends have been Undead Hordes. So I guess it's not confirmed, right? But there is a higher chance of this happening than anything else. Deck of Fates, 2 different patterns. So pattern 1 is a 24-day standard, and pattern 2 is a 10/38-day split. Interesting. Non-champion Deck of Fates repeats every 24 days. Verified 5 times in 2026. Valor, Verdant, glyphs. They do glyphs, gear, the Fallen Path, advanced gear to Tin Woodman is what the expectation is here. Now, pattern B is it depends on if there was a guaranteed champion or not. So, champion Deck of Fates split the 24-day cycle into 2 gaps, either 10 days and then 38 days, pre and post champion. Fallen Path to the Adventure Gear was a 10-day gap for that Deck of Fates, and then Advanced Gear to Tin Woodman is what the expectation is, 38 days with that gap, with an average of 24 days. TLDR, the 10-day gap just happened with the Fallen Path, which we just finished with the Adventures Deck of Fates. The 38-day gap would be next, and that's how we know that the Tin Woodman lands on September 28th, or plus or minus a couple of days, right? Both patterns converge on the same 24-day average. Note that Fallen Path is a Soulstone event, counted as a Deck of Fates for cycle tracking. Okay, so there we go. I mean, Deck of Fates are almost, not exclusively, actually. You know what? Deck of Fates have also been a shard event on occasion, but almost always that it is involving some form of Soulstone summoning. So do keep that in mind when it comes to Deck of Fates. The Tin Woodman Champion Deck of Fates. Predicted start of September 28th. And the Soulstone cost, this is important. If you're not aware of what a Soulstone costs, for guaranteed champion events for Deck of Fates, it is 70 points for Immortal, 700 for Immortal, and 3,500 for Eternal. So the approximate cost, 572 Mortal Soulstones, which most people don't have, let's be real. 58 Immortals and 12 Eternals. So if I go into my game right now, what do I got? Well, not a lot of Mortals. But I do have 30 Immortals and 9 Eternals. So some combination of this, right? Again, you would need 58 Immortals to exclusively clear it on that alone. So you ideally want some combination, I think, of Immortals and Eternal Soulstones. But Mortals, I tend to use my Mortals on 2x Soulstone periods, right? Because they're not worth a ton of points. Yes, they do add up on a Deck of Fates, but I rather try to see what I can do with Mortals to see if I can get any more, say, mythical pulls, things like that. So keep that in mind. The Ozilda Chase Tournament, offset from the collab start. So Shredder was 43 days in from the TMNT. Bayek was 50 days in. Raya was 51 days. So based on this, the prediction would be 48 days into the collab that Ozilda would have a Champion Chase tournament. All of them had Champion Chase tournaments related to their Void legendary character. Predicted window, October 2nd to the 6th, with perhaps an active 2x Sacred around this time as well. Let's see if Bose is right about that. The path timing, duration correlation. So this is compared to other events, right? Monster Hunters was 56 days. 56-day long event, sorry. With 13 days. I'm not sure I should have. Longer collab, sorry. I should have read this beforehand. WOC is Web of Corruptions, AC Assassin's Creed, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Oz, right? So Oz and TMNT, 84 days, Assassin's Creed at 90 days, Web of Corruption, 63 days. Okay. But when it was from this, the path, from the start of the event, 43 days for Web of Corruption, 77 for Assassin's Creed, 77 for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So predicted to be similar to TMNT. Path prediction, October 29th. This is interesting timing, right? And then he was suggesting that this would be for Scarecrow, right? Around Halloween. Now, this could be running or up until November the 6th as well. We'll see if that happens, right? Scarecrow, Halloween path. The Scarecrow is a Halloween icon, perfect thematic fit for Halloween, and this runs until November 10th. So Halloween falls through this window, but, you know, the Oz events are going to be ending post-Halloween shortly thereafter. Now, there is a precedent that it might not follow this pattern, and Varkos from Web of Corruption shifted this a little bit as well. But yes, this is the expectation. Be ready for either weekend, either October 29th and November 2nd, or 6th through the 8th, which is the very last weekend before the end of this event. But Bose believes that Halloween is the most likely. So given that it has a Halloween icon, the Scarecrow, in terms of, because the path, don't forget that the paths also have, you know, borders and also icons as rewards within the path as well. So this kind of follows a history of Halloween themed events like Sanguine Maria and stuff, and other Halloween related events. Now the 2x shard rotations, these happen essentially every 2 weeks, like on the dot. So this is easy to predict, right? Especially right now. We're going to be moving into 2x sacred, and then it repeats the cycle again. It's basically like a 6-week cycle that happens very frequently, so no real surprises there. A Titan event pattern. Fusion champions get a Titan event for a 5-star perfect soul starting the same day as the fusion ends, running 2 weeks. Lion Titan prediction, the fusion ends September 1-2, and then a 2-week event, or it is a 2-week event, sorry, from August the 19th, and that the Titan event is going to start on September the 1st, following the same pattern as Donatello and Folin for when it comes to these bigger event characters, and it'll run until the entire gap until the next fusion, which is expected to be Demon Spawn. Now, during the Titan, it is predicted that there's going to be a 2x Ancient that's going to be covering during the Titan period. So if you've been saving up your Ancient shards like I have, Actually, I have a lot. 153 ancient shards that do need to be pulled. So hopefully I'll get that chance to do that in a couple of weeks. And Lion is a character who I really want to get some souls on. The Oz characters look amazing, so I will be making sure to do that Lion Titan event. Resource planning. Save for these events. The Cowardly Lion Fusion, obviously, it's ongoing right now. Upcoming, Tin Woodman Deck of Fates. So again, save your soul stones for that. It's going to be really important. Ozilda Chase, good luck. But yeah, you could save Sacred Shards for that. Some other upcoming stuff, Scarecrow Path. This is going to be much later, of course. And then the upcoming fusions of Demon Spawn and Undead Hordes later in the next month or two. So again, the shard calendar of the 2Xs are like that. But yeah, it looks likely that there will be another in that 6-week rotation, right? Where Ozilda for the Champion Chase will have a 2X for Sacreds. If you're someone, I'm not going to be chasing Ozilda, but if you want to do that, then all the power to you, right? So that's going to be important here as well. And what else do we got? We collab champion structure, how previous collabs distributed their champions. So TMNT had a fusion right at the beginning, followed by a Titan, followed by a champion chase, which would have been a Shredder, and then a Deck of Fates for Raphael, and then another path there at the end, which was for Leo. Sorry, the Leo path. I was like, who was in the path in TMNT? And then we had the fusion for Cassandra for Assassin's Creed, the Titan event for Cassandra, Deck of Fates, which was Basim. We had the chase for the Void guy, right, who was crap, and then a path for Edward, right? So same thing. Web of Corruption. So you could see a very similar pattern. Not identical. Like there was a little bit of a change up here for the Web of Corruption where the path was towards the beginning. But by and large, if you look at a lot of the other ones, it's following a similar sort of pattern. So we expect that Oz to do the same. So that's very interesting. Again, these are all not confirmed by any means. Perhaps the Titan can be pretty much confirmed at this point, but the rest obviously is unconfirmed. So high confidence that we're going to have a 2X rotation following that pattern through into November. Woodman Deck of Fates, September 28th. Ozilda Chase, probably the week or so after, with a Lion 5-star Soul Titan coming up at the end of this fusion event. Then the other stuff, you know, not 100% guaranteed that we're going to have a Scarecrow path at that date, but likely that it will happen around then because of Halloween, right? They just got to line that up. So I think that makes a lot of sense. So TLDR, Oz collab is 84 days. 3 fusions coming. Save your soul stones for the Tin Woodman. Save your sacred shards for Ozilda if you would like that. I don't care much about her. But if you're one of the people who want to get every single character from the major events and then pick up the free relic or whatever they're giving away at that time, there you go. Scarecrow Path is likely somewhere around Halloween, and a bunch of 2X events throughout the collab every 2 weeks on a rotation of Sacred Shards, Ancient Shards, and Void Shards. Okay, that was the last slide. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Do you believe in this kind of Bo's prediction? I might make this like a monthly kind of update kind of thing because it's a really important also to keep an idea of what you're saving for. When it comes to any resources, when it comes to Raid Shadow Legends, you might have heard the phrase, wait, Shadow Legends. That's because, you know, by saving your resources for the right events, you're going to perform the best that you can to get these, especially these guaranteed champion events, which are very important for the most people's rosters to get these characters. That's just my thoughts. Let me know what yours are in the comments down below. Before we go, though, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, what are you waiting for? Download using the QR code in the top right. Get King Galkabar, get Venom H. Tagor, and Barrakin the Fat. And also, don't forget about Pelops the Victor using the promo code SUPERVICTORY within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. That's it for me, everyone, on this video. Thanks to Bose, and I'll see you guys on the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.